Hello, I'm Cinnamon Babe, and every Friday I like to discuss creepy topics while I do my makeup. So if you're new, please like and subscribe, and please enjoy the video. So today's story is about a woman named Amy Carlson, aka the cult leader known as Mother God. So Amy was born in McPherson, Kansas, November 30th, 1975. And she had a younger sister named Tara, and I believe she had another sister that was younger than her, I think from another marriage, because her parents ended up divorcing. Once Amy's parents divorced, her father ended up remarrying a very cruel woman that ended up abusing Amy. She would physically abuse her and mentally abuse her. She would do things like lock her in a closet, and that will be relevant later in the story. So as a result, her mother and her sister Tara ended up moving to Houston, Texas to basically start fresh. So later on in life, Amy was described as a great student. She got good grades and she sung in a choir, and she just pretty much was on the right track in life. So growing up as a teen in the 80s to 90s, Amy struggled with weight gain and like body image, and so she had confidence issues because of that. And so her mother ended up going on Weight Watchers with her, and Amy ended up losing a good amount of weight, and she became thin and blonde and felt really good about herself, and men started to like notice. And so into her adult life, she got into the party scene, like as like a young adult, like 19. She got into the party scene and started drinking, started meeting new people, and started dating like men that just weren't really good men, abusive men. Her mother was saying that most of the men that she would date were abusive towards her. So she had like a pattern of dating like abusive men. Soon she found herself the young mother of 3 children as a result of just, going out and partying and drinking and just meeting different men. She found herself the mother of 3 small children. So she became a manager at McDonald's, and life was pretty routine for her. She had a couple marriages. I believe she got married 3 times in her life, but yeah, she just was a mother of 3 with some marriages in between, and just working. So life was just pretty basic and routine for her. For most people it is. And so with it being the early 2000s, she got into online dating. And with the online dating, she was also getting interested into New Age spirituality. And let me explain what like New Age spirituality generally is. So New Age spirituality is usually, it's like a mix of mainstream like religions, sometimes Abrahamic religions like Christianity, sometimes religions like Islam, Buddhism, philosophy, like-minded type things. Sometimes it involves crystals, basically believing that you're like the god of your own universe type situation. It's kind of hard to explain, but yes, Amy started to get interested into New Age spirituality. So with her getting interested in that, probably from like online research, she came across a website called lightworkers.org. And what that is like a community where people can like discuss, different beliefs and mindsets, and also chat. So it's like a chatting like website where people can meet each other with like-minded spirituality and beliefs. And so she ended up meeting a guy named Amrith White Eagle, who was a lot older than her. And they ended up connecting, and he convinced her that she was divine. Mind you, this man believed that pretty much everybody was divine. Like, I think his spirituality was like, those people that believe that you're God. Like, there is no one God, you're God. Like, you're in charge of your destiny and Like, you can heal yourself and you can heal others. I think that was more so his belief. So with him meeting her and possibly being attracted to her, you know, it inspired him to tell her that she was divine, which is, you know, pretty much opposite of the lifestyle she was living. You know, she just was living a basic life as a manager at McDonald's and, you know, having 3 children and just a family life, and it wasn't nothing exciting. It wasn't nothing that, you know, boosted your ego or your confidence. It just was, you know, basic life. So with him telling her that, I think it really made an impact, because I believe that she had self-esteem issues. That's when her family said that's when, like, she started talking strange, and she started saying that she was hearing voices, and the voices, you know, would tell her grandiose things, you know, basically relating to her being God. And just like a lot of times people into New Age spirituality, when they start talking, they don't really like make a lot of sense a lot of times. Like, they're like, oh, love is life. And so like her family just started noticing, like her mother and her sisters, they started noticing that she was talking strange, and they didn't really know what to make of it, because she just, you know, like I said, she was a good student, she was a good mom, good worker, just all around person that was on the right track in life. So they weren't expecting for this to happen. They didn't really know what to do with her talking strange. Well, she even started believing that she will one day become president, because voices were telling her so. She believed that she was Donald Trump's daughter. Like, she started to believe in reincarnation. And by 2007, she just made a major decision that would impact the rest of her life and her family's life. She decided that she was basically done being a mom, done being a wife, like done working, and she decided to go move with Amherst White Eagle in Colorado. She then cut contact with her entire family, her children, basically just picked up and left. She left Houston and moved to Colorado out of nowhere. They didn't get any type of notice. It's even been reported that family members had dinner with her and she just excused herself, and that was the last they saw of her. So Amherst led a group called the Galactic Federation of Light, and he incorporated Amy into this group, and together they called themselves Mother and Father God, and they started posting content on YouTube in 2009. So they're starting, this is the beginning of the cult. So Amy consistently started posting and going live on YouTube and stuff about being God, and, you know, referring to herself as Mother God. And she started growing a large following. And in that following, she ends up meeting a man named Miguel. And he became in charge of her finances, like her finance, like her websites. Like, he basically became like her finance manager. And with meeting him, she ends up leaving Amherst and basically branching out and starting her new cult. And within the following, she would meet different like men that she was attracted to, because this is definitely an attraction thing. She would meet different men in the cult, and instead of Amherst being the ultimate Father God, whoever she would become like sexually involved with would become the new Father God, and so on and so forth. So she kept like pretty much switching out Father Gods as successors, and ultimately she met an ex-con named Jason Castillo, and he became basically the one-all be-all Father God. And she basically moves him in, and they start a romantic relationship as basically mom and dad of the cult. And this is by 2014. Basically just completely left Amherst. So by this point, Amy started her own cult, and it was renamed Love Has Won. And she grew a huge following, and she started to believe that she had been reincarnated. And by this point, she had believed that she was 19 billion years old, and that she had reincarnated like at least 500,000 times. And most of the reincarnations that the lives that she had lived was like Jesus, Marilyn Monroe, Michael Jackson, Elvis, usually like huge like historic figures. Like I said, she believed that she was Donald Trump's daughter at one point, even though Donald Trump's daughter is still alive and so is Donald Trump. So it's like, that, how does that make any sense? But okay. So she believed that she was like divine leaders, well, not leaders, divine individuals such as Jesus. She believed that she was like famous people, and it's usually when people say that, they're always someone famous and important. It's never just some regular person or some person that was an enlightened spirit in the past time. It's usually like a god or somebody famous. So yeah, you get it. So Amy also believed that Robin Williams was like took a major role in this religious belief. She believed that one day that she would ascend, basically like pass away, and that Robin Williams would come to collect her body using like a space shuttle. Like when they basically make people ascend with the space shuttle. That's what she believed. Like once she died, that Robin Williams would come collect her. And she also believed that she could hear from Robin Williams. She just believed like he just had like a major role in this religion. And so she also believed that she could heal the sick, just from like having live sessions, like private live sessions with different followers that like had different ailments, like brain diseases and cancer and just like different sicknesses. She believed if you went live with her and she like had a healing session with you, she could heal you. And so those live sessions cost $88 per session. And she started making a lot of money, like thousands of dollars doing this, claiming to have healed people through the sessions. And also another way she would earn income is her followers would drop everything that they were doing, and she would invite them to come live with her, and they would cash in their 401k and just hand it to her out of their support. They would clean her entire house every single day, like whatever they could do to serve. Like they would fetch food for her. Like she basically had servants. Also, her followers that lived in the house with her, they would go live pretty much every day, and they would try to sell like different like cosmetics, like body scrubs, body oils, crystals, like different things like that. And one major thing that they would sell colloidal silver. And if you don't know what colloidal silver is, it's basically like little silver particles, and you like drink it in a liquid, and it is believed to have like healing properties if you're sick. The group believed that it was like a cure for COVID, and so they believe by taking it, it would like kill diseases and stuff. So they would sell that on their website and on their lives and stuff, even though it's not FDA approved. And they were warned at one time by the FDA to stop promoting it as a healing agent, because it actually can be pretty dangerous. So anyway, that's one way that she was like making like thousands of dollars, and to the point where like she could live wherever she wanted. Like the group would move constantly. So also there's people in the group that also had children, and they would up and leave their children to come live with her. So she wasn't the only one who abandoned her children in the group. There were other people that did it. So Amy was also a major alcoholic. Like she would drink from sunup to sundown. Her and the group would participate in drugs and alcohol from sunup to sundown. They would also, like on video, would promote their following to do the same, saying that like alcohol and drugs and stuff could heal you, and like smoking and basically like cigarettes and just like whatever. Like they were like, instead of like saying, okay, these things aren't good for you, but they feel good, they would promote it like it was like, this is actually good for you, like forget everything you've heard, stuff like that. And they would stay in the house for days on end. And also Amy was extremely belligerent, probably due to the alcohol. She was extremely belligerent, so she would cuss and scream at her followers, her living followers, and on camera, and just be very demanding. And then also Jason Costello father got, he would also do the same and just like mistreat the people in the house. There was also child abuse going on. There were some of the living followers had brought their children, and so Amy would be like the leader on how to discipline them. And what did she do as a form of discipline on camera? She would lock toddlers in the closet as a form of discipline and basically encourage the following that was healthy to do. So yeah, different toxic things like that. Also, Amy was anorexic. Goes back to the body positivity issues that she had growing up. So she would starve herself, and she would encourage her group to do the same, and as well as sleep deprivation. So they would stay awoke for hours and hours and hours with little sleep, and they would stay in the house and go live and for days on end. So the group became very thin along with Amy. They looked very deprived, and whenever family members would see the videos, they would get very, very worried. So due to the heavy drinking, the anorexia, the drug intake, and also the colloidal silver, she was drinking heavy amounts of it a day. Day by day, she found it extremely painful and hard to walk, and her legs began to swell, her feet began to swell, and she became pretty much immobile, paralyzed from the waist down due to her the abuse that she was putting her body through. She ended up getting kidney failure due to her extreme lifestyle, because like I said, she would drink heavily every single day from sun up to sundown. And like I said, because of the drinking, she would mistreat her living followers as well. And there are videos with them going live and them, basically making YouTube videos with her screaming and crying in the background because she was in so much pain. Like I said, kidney failure. And then the swelling of her limbs. And then, like, going back to the colloidal silver, the colloidal silver basically causes your skin to turn blue permanently. So her face began to turn like a purplish blue. And it also increases your chances of kidney failure, which she started to experience. And basically everything that they said negative about colloidal silver was happening to Amy. But her followers kept promoting it as a healthy thing to do. And even though it's literally like unaliving Amy. Amy called the voices in her head her angels or the galactics, or sometimes it would be Robin Williams that she would say she heard, and so she would say that pretty much dictated the decision she made. So the group would travel very often, like relocate and move between homes. They would live in Colorado, they lived in Oregon, they've lived in California and Florida. There's a mission house that they purchased, Amy purchased under Miguel, the finance manager's name, that's in Colorado. So, but other than that, like I said, they travel often and relocated pretty much wherever the voices in her head dictated. So as I said, Amy's health had severely declined, and the group decided that they were going to move to Hawaii. And in August of 2020, that's what they did. Amy's mother and sister ended up getting very worried because, like I said, the family members of the following would they would watch the videos that were being posted or the live. Amy's family became very worried during August of 2020 when Amy had moved to Hawaii, and so they ended up contacting Dr. Phil. And what they were looking for when they contacted Dr. Phil was for him to help Amy mentally and physically. They saw that her health was severely declining and they were very worried. But what ended up happening, and I'm not really blaming Dr. Phil for this, but I'm saying that Dr. Phil's episode ended up being more about exposing the cult's toxicity and Amy's toxicity and the dangers of joining the cult, which is very useful. Like, that's productive. I'm not saying that it's wrong. Like, they definitely need to be exposed because it's toxic, the things that they were promoting. But it ended up focusing more on that than helping Amy and her followers. Like, they needed help. But here's the other hand of that. Like, I don't believe that Amy would have accepted the help that Dr. Phil would have offered. Like, if he would have said, hey, I will fly you out to a facility that can help you with your health, mentally and physically, I think that she would have declined it because, for one, she's claiming to be God. Her followers are claiming that she is God. And so they didn't believe in hospitals, and so they were very, like, dead set against it. And I think that Dr. Phil realized that, so he didn't even offer it. But Amy's family ended up being very disappointed in that, because that was like their last hope to try to get Amy some help. And like I said, it ended up being more about exposing the toxicity of the cult. So due to the Dr. Phil show, it ended up giving the cult a lot of exposure, because a lot of people watch Dr. Phil. So ended up giving the cult a lot of exposure. So possibly a lot of people just going on to the lives and watching her YouTube videos. And in one of her, I think is either a live or a YouTube video, she ended up saying that she was the goddess Pil. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's a Hawaiian goddess that some Hawaiian people believe in. And when she did that, she gave the group a lot of negative publicity. And the locals of Hawaii got gravely offended by her saying that she was the goddess Pil, as they should, because, like, you don't get to just say that you're something when you're not. And especially the behavior, like the way she acts, it's very offensive. So a lot of Hawaiian locals ended up going outside of her the hotel she was staying at, the property she was staying at, and rioting. They rioted every day, and they would shout things like, you're not Jesus, you're not the goddess, you need to leave, you're not welcome here. And they would throw like eggs and rocks at her car and stuff. Like, they wanted her out. And so the mayor of Hawaii ended up basically kicking her out of Hawaii. And she was very disappointed because she thought that Hawaii was going to heal her. And it's like, if you're looking for healing, why didn't you just stop drinking? Why didn't you stop taking the silver? Like, why continue to do all the negative things you're doing if you're looking for healing? And if you're God, why can't you heal yourself? Even Dr. Phil asked that. So, September 2020, she ended up getting kicked out of Hawaii. And they moved back to Colorado. And by this time, Amy's health had completely just plummeted. Skin completely blue. Completely frail, lost all motor function. She could barely move and could barely speak. And whenever I think she started to go into panic mode, because the group was talking about how she would have moments where she's like, what if I made this all up? What if I'm not God? Like, basically, like, panicking and spiraling. And whenever she would do that, they would kind of like talk her out of it and just say, oh, you're just having a weak moment, like, it's okay. Instead of seeing the situation for what it is, this woman is passing, like, she's literally losing her life. She's like, her sickness is like increasing, like it's like causing her whole body to fail. And instead of getting her help, they're still encouraging her that she's God, when she can't even do anything for herself. She had to be carried everywhere and like be pushed around in a wheelchair. Like, she couldn't even like go to the bathroom on her own. She couldn't take a shower on her own. She couldn't do anything, and she was in a lot of pain. And there were times where she wanted to go to the hospital, and like I said, the group would take it as a weak moment, because there were times where she was like very adamant she didn't want to go to a hospital. So despite the times where she would say, oh, I want to go to a hospital, they'll be like, oh, you're just having a weak moment, so like, we'll go to like the voices in your head for guidance, pretty much. It's very unfortunate. So this is when like I really like recognize the toxicity of the group. They continue to give her drugs and alcohol in the colloidal silver, like large doses of it, because they just believed that was going to heal her, even though she's literally destroying her body with the alcohol, with the smoking. But They continued to give her alcohol, and they would do it on video, and they would be like, oh, this is her medicine, this is what's helping her. And that's also encouraging other people that, you know, it's okay to drink when you're literally sick. And that's them promoting that. And the followers would also go live saying that I can feel it. You know, Mother is going to be ascending soon. Robin is going to come get her because, you know, like I said, her health is failing, and they could see that she's going to ascend. Also, it is also like super sad. The group would continuously like transport her between Colorado, California, and Oregon, even though she can't, you know, even though she's in this poor health, which it's terrible to like have somebody travel these far distances across the country while they're literally like fighting for their lives. But like they would literally just drop everything and put her in the car and just go. And so there was several wellness checks because, like I said, family members watching the lives, people, just concerned people watching the lives and seeing, and not just lives, but videos that they're posting. Just seeing like the condition that Amy was in, and seeing like their own family members, like I said, they're starving themselves too, like they're looking unhealthy too. So there was a lot of wellness checks from like the police and stuff, but every time they would come to like check on Amy, along with them like literally switching locations, they would just say, oh, she's not home. She was last seen alive in Mount Shasta, California in April 10th of 2021 by a non-member. Probably like, you know, looking like she like death, but still alive. And like that's the last like in-person sighting of anybody that had ever seen of her. So they ended up moving her again to Oregon, at this place called Callahan's Mountain Lodge in Oregon. And like I said, by then, Amy's health is just, it's a no-go. Like, she's not moving, she's barely speaking. And shortly after the move, she passed, unfortunately. So after she passed, the group claimed that her body was still warm. They would give her water, and they said that there were times that they would see her breathing. And not only that, they claimed that when they would use like this device that detects, I guess, electrical energy, they would hold it up to her body on video, and they would detect electrical energy that was higher than theirs. So that would also confirm their belief that she was God. And then all the while, they're also still believing that Robin is going to come get her. They just don't know where or when or how. So they're steadily going live and doing YouTube videos with her corpse in the background and just basically treating her as if she's still alive, which is horribly creepy and terribly sad and exploitive and just words I can't even describe. And disrespectful to her family. But like I said, when you're just so out of touch from reality, I don't even know what to say about that. So the hotel staff at the lodge ended up getting suspicious. So they before they could really do anything about it, the group ended up moving again. They moved her body to Mount Hood National Forest, and I think during this time they did say that they had got pulled over by the cops, but they had her like propped up like she was sleeping, and so the cops just let them go. So they made camp at this national forest, all while still believing that Robin Williams was going to come and come get her with a spaceship. And of course that never ended up happening. So what do? Again, they move her body again. So they move her to Crestone, Colorado, where the Mission House is. The Mission House is the house I mentioned before. It's a house they bought, and they call it the Mission House. And it's where the group pretty much, it's like the base or the hub where they stay. And so this is where Miguel was at the time residing. And when they came in with Amy's corpse, Miguel freaked out like a normal person would. He's not saying that he was normal, because he definitely wasn't, but he had a normal reaction. He freaked out because what he saw was beyond words. Amy's corpse was in a sleeping bag wrapped with Christmas lights, face completely blue, mummified, eyes missing, glitter all over her face. And they brought her to the house like that. So Miguel freaked the hell out, as he should have. So Miguel, being the accounts manager, everything is in his name. I don't know why Amy did it that way, but I guess she knew she was gonna ascend or whatever. And so everything was in his name, the accounts, everything. So Miguel, as soon as he saw her corpse, he's like, oh my God, she's dead. So he freaking immediately contacts the police. He leaves and he empties all the accounts, and the accounts contained well over $300,000. And basically it was within his legal rights to take the money, because all the money was in his name, that properties was in his name, like everything was in his name. And it's just crazy that they had that much money to start with anyway. So yeah, he reports everything to the police. So when the cops arrive, they come inside, and in Amy's room is a shrine, and they come across the mummified body with the missing eyes, and she had, based off of her state of decay, they were able to estimate that she had been dead for several weeks. Like, they had been transporting her body back and forth for several weeks, which is I just find to be terrible. Yeah. So 7 of the members were charged with abuse of a corpse and also child abuse, because unfortunately this was being done in front of children at the residence, which is just really sad. They got charged, and Amy's body weighed only 75 pounds. Like, that was her weight before death. And apparently the group and her believed that in order for Robin Williams to come get her and like properly make her body ascend or whatever, she had to weigh at least 103 pounds. So, you know, with their anorexia and how she's treating her body, she was well under that. She was only 75 pounds, which is really, really sad. December of 2021, her autopsy was released, and it said that her cause of death was due to a global decline of anorexia, alcohol abuse, and the large ingestion of the colloidal silver. That was her cause of death, which is crazy. So unfortunately, I guess, basically they were able to see that this was a choice that she made on her own. All the charges were dropped against the cult members. I guess I don't really know why they were dropped, because I still feel like they did abuse her corpse, like, you know, like covering it in glitter and just transporting it all over the place. Like, that should not be legal. Like, that's not okay. They should have been charged with something. And then the child abuse, like, you know, you had children around while you were doing this. Like, that's not right. But it was dropped. And then Miguel, the finance manager, he cut off all contact with the cult members, and he refuses to speak to any media outlets. So yeah, he got the money and he don't want to talk to nobody. So basically after Amy's death, and after what Miguel did, the group dispersed and basically went and live their own lives, but they still maintain that Amy was God. The name of the call has changed because, like I said, they dispersed under like their own sectors. One name is 5D. It's 5D Full Disclosure. They still go live, some of them. Like I said, still maintaining what they believe about Amy. And all the social media that was under Love Has Won has been closed. Probably due to Miguel, because he basically, when she passed, he's like, oh, I got the money, bye. Which is, I find to be a little funny. For unfortunately, Amy's body was returned to her family, her real family, and her children are currently attending college, which is great. So while I finish my makeup, and by the way, I'm going for like a little bit of a Tim Burton like grunge look, I just want to give my final thoughts. And I just want to say that I believe that Amy struggled with self-esteem issues due to like the abuse and different things that she experienced when she was a kid. I believe that she had low self-esteem, and due to that low self-esteem, narcissistic tendencies kind of grew from it. Because I believe when you're narcissistic, a lot of time that comes from you having low self-esteem. And so, because of the narcissism, you start to believe that everything is about you. You become selfish and you don't really see things from other people's perspectives because of it. And which is why it was so easy for her to just up and leave her family, her children, because all she could think about was herself. And with her being told that she was God, that she was divine, that felt better, that felt good. It was satisfactory for her to believe that she was God rather than just a mother working at McDonald's. So she chose like an indulgent life. And then she unfortunately was surrounded by people who were broken. A lot of the people that followed her came from abuse themselves, had low self-esteem themselves. Like Jason, for example, Father God. He was a convict, but he described in the HBO documentary about this, he described that he had never been told anything like special about himself. And so one day Amy like looked at him and she was like, "You're brilliant." And that's all she said, that he was brilliant. And that was just so like monumental for him, because a lot of the people in the group like literally come from broken homes and abuse and just never feeling special. And so they got like a sense of community, a sense of belonging, something to look forward to, just from being around Amy. It was like a codependent situation, and I do hold them partially accountable for like her destruction because they enabled the behavior. Like I said, they would cash out their 401k, they would give her every dime they had, they would do whatever she asked. And even to her own destruction, like they would literally watch her destroy herself, drinking and doing drugs and, taking a toxic substance. Like they encourage the behavior. So I do hold them accountable for part of this. And then I also hold Amy accountable. Like I believe that due to her claiming the title of being God, she allowed the devil to enter her life. Because nobody can be God, and if you claim to be God, you're giving the devil legal license over your life. And I think there's one more thing I wanted to say. A lot of times, and I don't want to like misrepresent anybody that's a part of New Age spirituality, but a lot of times is about feeling good all the time. Like that's what it's about, mainly love and just feeling your best all the time. And that feels better than facing the harsh realities of life, which is why I feel like a lot of people join cults and get into New Age spirituality. Because if you think about like Christianity and like different religions, like Christianity, those type of religions hold you accountable for your actions. Like you're not allowed to just go out and do whatever feels good. But different New Age spirituality beliefs, like a lot of them is about feeling good all the time. That's what it's mainly about. Feeling good, being God, saying all these great things about yourself even when it's not true, because it feels good. That's what it's all about. And another side of cults is freaking sex and violence. It's always about sexuality and then control. Like, and then a lot of times the control like inspires violence. That's what mainly the cults end up turning into. So that's a red flag there. So like before you join an organization that possibly is a cult, just look for the red flags. Like, is it very sexually driven? I do see like a lot of sexual things going on, which in New Age spirituality, a lot of times, like I said, feeling good, that's like one of the things. You have to like also like think about the morality of situations. So, not trying to preach, but like, there's only like one God, and that's Jesus Christ. And if you want to learn more about him, pick up a Bible. But let me put on some mascara. Do the finishing touches. And then one more thing I have. I got this from Target. It was only $3. And it's body glitter. And for some reason they think body glitter is for costumes, but I think it's for everyday life. Yep, so I'm going to like stock up on this before Halloween is over because they're going to get rid of it. Ooh, it's all sparkly. And you can spray it in your hair. Oh, you can see it. Cool. I don't want to do too much because I have to go out in public today. I like to put glitter on, but not so much glitter. I don't usually put it in my hair. But that's the final makeup look. But thank you so much for watching. Like I said, I think the moral of the story is an average woman with an average life decided to believe that she was God, and as a result, it destroyed her. Her toxic behavior of always wanting to feel good destroyed her, and that's just a cautionary tale of the entire story. It's very unfortunate. I wish her family the best, and like I pray that everyone involved finds the true God, which is Jesus Christ, and that they repent and just live productive, healthy lifestyles. But like I said, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe and stay tuned for more. There will be more episodes coming out with this new series. But yeah, have a great day.